Good morning, I am Daniel Rebolledo, member of the group formed by Diego Davila, Ricardo Rodriguez, and Mauricio Illescas. I'm going to talk about Farmamobile. Farmamobile is an application in which a user registers his ID, password, and preference, and from that point, he can make queries of medicine on different drugstore chains based on his location and preference, being able to watch the stock, price, and description of the product. Next on, we are going to talk about the analysis of said application regarding software quality. First of all, let's see the workflow of the application. First of all, a client enters the app. Then, a client registers. The app collects the information about client's location. The app contacts with the server in order to obtain preference, offer, and stores near the customer's location. Then the information is shown to the client. A client visualizes the products and all the information about this, and finally a client, once inside the app, has to put to refresh the information. Now we are going to talk about the COVID. The first process is the process MI1 that is monitor and evaluate IT performance. The IT goal for this process is high availability of the data for the user. The process goal is providing data for the user when he enters the app or pull to refresh. The activity goal for this process is check the bandwidth, check the server downtime, check the environment security, check the connection with the servers, check the user's permission, and check the data synchronization. The principal goal of this process is that the system can guarantee that a user visualizes the information about the medicine when he does a search. Then we have the process PO8, that is manage quality. The IT goal for this process is always available for users' issues. The process goal is provide an interface that allows the user to send their complaints to a bot that orients them to a solution of their problems. The activity goal for this process is register answer for solving new similar issues in less time, create an alert system that warns the bot of any failure to avoid the user's any inconvenience, verify the degree of satisfaction of the customer after reaching the solution, and finally, quantify the solved and unsolved complaints for monitoring and auditing purposes. The principal goal of this process is to improve the satisfaction of the client across a bot that can solve any kind of doubt or problem of the client. Then we have the process PO9. The IT goal for this process is reduce security breaches. The process goal is provide a safe environment in which the user can make questions calmly. The activity goal for this process is check the document of number of successful attacks in ambient alike. Keep the exchange of information always confidential. Establish security mechanisms on the app with respect to the access. Encrypt information and sending time. Check the result of assessment in ambient of such nature. And finally, check the percentage of area affected by the intrusion in similar environments. The principal goal of this process is to provide an environment with a high level of security.
I'm going to talk about the process AI3, acquire and maintain technology infrastructure. The IT goal in this process is to develop a framework that interacts with the web service. The process goal is to provide a web service that is compatible with the framework which plans to develop, thereby permitting to manage the services. And the activity goals in this process are check the connections with the servers, check the numbers of intrusions detected, have a record of the services that will be implemented in the web service for proper management, and check the data which is going to be sent to the server. In process AI4, enable operation and use. The IT goal of this process is provide an easy access to the catalog of meds through the app. The process goal allow the user to search for meds of his or her choice, and the activity goals are check the response time of the app, which is the efficiency of the app. Check the number of queries at a given moment, provide an intuitive interface, and have enough bandwidth to attend a large amount of clients simultaneously with no delay.
Process DS4. Ensure continuous service. IT goals. Provide service avoiding unexpected problems or interruption on key processes and ensure minimal impact in service. Process goals. Build solutions and developing contingency plans that accomplish the risk assessment. Activity goals. Storing backup of the data and contingency plans at offline locations. Testing plans to fulfill every point of the risk evaluation. Developing and improving contingency plans. Checking new critical points not covered by the IT plans. Process DS11. Manage data. IT goals. Ensure and optimize the usability and availability of the information when it is required. Process goal. Maintain same format and order, providing integrity, accuracy, and protection of the data. Activity goals. Backing up data and testing. Managing online and offline storage of the data. Using standard for data documentation.
Now we are going to talk about the ITIL processes. First of all, we have the service strategy. In the financial management, it's important to say that to design the app, the organization is not going to incur in costs because they are planning to use open source development software like Ruby, Linux, Android Studio, and NinjaMock. The unique cost that can be mentioned in this area is the price of the middleware on the server that will hardware the user's account, but the project doesn't tell anything about this. Then we have the service portfolio management. The following IT investment needed for the development are a cell phone with Android operating system, a laptop with Linux, and 2 laptops with Windows. The organization is going to create value across these assets designing and programming the app. Moreover, the app is going to create a monetary flow through the use of ad mode. Then we have the demand management. It's important to say that the app future is promissory because according to Engadget, the health apps are growing exponentially. At present, there are 1 million of apps the user can download to his smartphone. Besides, the great smartphone and gadget fabricators are following these tendencies, putting app of health factory. In this way, this app wants to take this market need and also adapt itself to new tendencies with annual updates.
Service design. In service design, we have 7 steps. The first of them is service catalog management. In here, we defined 3 types of services. Platform user support service. This will help the users to solve any problem that he or she has had. Information security service, which is responsible for maintaining and ensuring the integrity of the information provided by our affiliated pharmacies, and management service, which will have control over the processes used in the application. In service level management, we give a level of priority to the service. Platform user support services is level 8, same as management services, but information security service has level 10 because we're talking about security, which is important. I think it's the most important services. In capacity management, in platform user support services, we need suitable equipment for application service development, software license to use, and access to an internal database that will store information about the issues the user face. In information security service, we will need a software license to use and access to information stored in databases of our customers. For last, in management services, we will need a framework developed in Ruby on Rails, suitable equipment for framework develop, software license to use, and an acceptable bandwidth to avoid delays when the connection between the web service and the app generates. In availability management, the platform user support services will be available for all the users, such as developers and users, but information security service will only be available for developers, as same as management services, that it also is going to be available for developers. In IT service continuity management, we define a contingency plan in case the worst scenario appears. The contingency plan consists on backup regularly. This could be at the end of every day, in order to keep information as current as possible in case a disaster strikes. In addition to checks to the backup to monitor the integrity of the information. If the information in the current backup is compromised, it will proceed to use the previous backup. Information security management. In here, we regularly check the status of servers to detect any possible threat and check the requirements assigned to the users. And suppliers management. Here we deliver the request equipment with the least possible delay, check the status of the requested equipment, and acquire the software license of a service providers accredited.
Now we're going to talk about the service transition. The transition of planning and support laptops and software installation. Then we have backend and web service development. Then we have the app development. Then we have the app testing in iT's Android cell phones. Then we have the feedback with the possible users. Then we have the improvement of the app according to the new requirement of the possible users. Then we have the launch of the app to the Play Store, and finally we have the continuous update and fixes. In the change management, it's important to say that the change in IT resources to be made are the installation of the laptops for the development of the app, the laptop for the back end services, and the installation of the software such as Android Studio and Rails. In the service asset and configuration management, the app does not store any kind of data around the drags because it's only an intermediary that across a middleware or a post or guest method show the drag store data. This data shows details like stock price description and drag store near to the user's localization. On the other hand, the app manages all the data related with the user's account in external server. This data groups the ID, pass, and preference of the clients. Moreover, the documentation of the project is going to be stored in a cloud-free account in Google. Besides, there are two PCs with Windows operating system, Android Studio, and the different APIs that is going to be used in the project. The project has 3 PCs, thus there are 3 users each with password. This info is stored with the documentation in the cloud space. In the release and deploy management, it's relevant to say that release will be tested in Android cell phone. The IT area has a user in a kind of feedback. After the final version is approved by the user, it will be deployed on the Play Store so that the customer can download the app to their phones. In the service and validation and testing, as stated in the previous spot, the users are the ones that approve the final version to later to be deployed on the Play Store. In the evaluation, the developers evaluate the changes that have been implemented after culmination. In this meeting, the developers and the user verify if everything works properly, intuitiveness, etc. And the knowledge management, first of all, the organization has to avoid the island of information. That's why the project has to make up a clean up that consists in selecting the useful information and make documentation of it. Then the organization has to check all the things related with their accessibility. The documentation should be stored in a free cloud account of Google. Besides, the organization has to check also which users are the ones that need to have the access to this account. Then the organization has to roll out the project. In this step, the company has to design the activities to make up a basic knowledge management system, communications, regards, and recognition. Finally, the organization has to evaluate the results of this knowledge management system. In a nutshell, the tacit knowledge should be treated in a little meetings in order to obtain explicit knowledge about this, and explicit knowledge is going to be stored in the cloud.
Service operations. In this case, Farmamobile, we will consider the following processes. Event management. Checking everyday products, links, information to prevent any fail or outdated information. Logging every time the information in the database is updated. Show alert and logging for each server error with its error code. Incident management. In case the app crashed, we are going to request information about what the user was doing before the incident and some other details. Troubleshoot server errors indicated in report. Request fulfillment. Receive any request for information about the drugstore attaching the reason to achieve a password response. Request for any kind of new device has to specify area, user, model, and reason. To request a new user, need to be attached an ID from the company to avoid duplicates. Problem management. Update the capacity of demand of the storage. Check data actively to avoid data degradation. Access management. Checking every day all the users who can access the database to avoid imposter and data leaks. Verifying authorized rights for each user. Monitoring and save every access to the database for easier audits.
Continual service improvement. CSI improvement process. This process consists on 7 steps. The first is define what to measure. In the case of the app, we are going to measure the number of security breaches, the number of problems encountered by users, the app's response time, and the server downtime. Then we define the areas that you can measure. In this case, we define 3 areas. The customer service area, that is going to be measured by the platform user support service. The systems area, it's going to be measured by Information Security Service and the administrative area for the management service. Next, we have to collect data. The data will be collected through time in relation to the performance of the app, but having more importance on the data related to the number of breaches, problems encountered by users, and apps response time and server downtime. After that, we have to process the data. The data will be processed and organized taking into account the information that this data contains. Data containing information about medications go directly to the systems area. In case where the data information is concerning about the problems encountered in the application, they will be referred to the customer service area. And finally, if the data referred to the service offered by the company, the administrative area will be responsible for managing such information. And after that, we have to analyze this data. Once the processing is complete, the data is now going to have a compare. After that, we have to analyze the data. Once the processing is complete, it carries out a comprehensive data analysis to avoid any type of intrusion into the company's information. After that, we have to making the data usable and presenting. Data is presented and explained to the heads of the company so they can make decisions on how to improve the app so that the IT area can carry out such changes. And finally, and for last, we have to implement changes. With the command of the heads of the company and the data, the IT area can now make improvements in the service and compare and contrast with the past instance of the service with the data.